Hey everyone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Weekly Wrap-Up. I'm Brubaker.
And I'm Jessica Lee. On today's show, you'll be joining us in our conversation about this week's biggest headlines in the news. So to kick off the show, we have an update on the port strike that we covered last week.
Yes, we do. The Dock Workers Union and the shipping industry have reached a tentative agreement to suspend the strike until January 15th of 2025.
Wow.
They did this in exchange for a 62% increase in wages over the 6-year contract.
Yeah, so a tentative agreement it means that it's an agreement that doesn't completely resolve the issue. So that, like between the union and the shipping companies, it's not completely resolved.
Yes, and if you remember from last week, we mentioned that the union was demanding a 77% increase in wages. So they didn't quite get exactly what they were asking for, and they also didn't get the banning of all the automated machinery either.
So I'm assuming that automation will be a key factor in the negotiations from now until January.
Yeah, so we will have to see if there are any future updates on this story.
So yeah, moving on to political news.
Yes.
The former president, Donald Trump, held yet another rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, which is the same place that he got shot earlier this year.
Yes, that is a bold move. That is
very bold.
It's quite an interesting decision to hold the rally in the same place.
But he
did have a special guest at the rally,
yes,
Mr. Elon Musk, famous for Tesla and SpaceX, and now X, formerly known as Twitter.
And he went all the way to Pennsylvania to speak at this event. I think he made some pretty bold predictions. I didn't watch the whole event, but I did see a lot of clips online. And he said that if we keep going at this rate, there's going to be no election next year.
I think what he was saying with that was that there's potential for increased voter fraud, given a lot of like the current ways that they're collecting votes via like mail-in ballots and things like that. And no voter ID is what he was referring to.
It's an interesting combination.
It is a very interesting combination, and one that was not expected because they used to, Elon and former President Donald Trump used to not get along very well.
Yes, right.
So now I guess they put aside some of their differences.
Yeah, and they also worked together last week to help out the people of North Carolina.
Yes, they did.
And who were affected by the hurricane.
And speaking of the hurricanes,
yes,
as you know, we have another hurricane coming
towards
Florida, unfortunately.
So of course we need to bring in our in-house reporter, Reese Leatherman, or should I say Weatherman?
Here she is.
Yes.
Hi
Hello,
guys.
Reese.
I didn't think I'd see y'all again so soon.
I know.
I know. Unexpected.
Yeah. So.
What's going on? What do we have?
So Hurricane Milton has strengthened into a Category 5 as of Monday.
Okay.
There are talks of it becoming a Category 3 once it makes landfall. But Tampa, it's definitely going to hit Tampa and the Orlando area, which is kind of crazy because Tampa hasn't been in the direct path of a hurricane in over a century, and now with Helene happening and Hurricane Milton happening, so they have received an evacuation order as of Monday. And so if you haven't noticed, the traffic has been kind of crazy recently.
Really bad.
So there's going to be life-threatening storm surges, damaging winds, especially for us, a lot of heavy rain. So it's just, stay off the roads. Definitely get your hurricane snacks, be prepared.
And it's supposed to make landfall tomorrow, you said?
Tomorrow, Wednesday, yes.
And in the morning or no?
We're looking at around like an 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. kind of 12-hour
window.
Crazy. Do you know anyone who's evacuating?
I don't.
Really?
Do you guys?
I do. I have a couple family members from Tampa coming up to visit for the day.
Yeah.
Well, probably more than the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good that they're coming and evacuating though.
Yeah. Following orders.
Yeah.
All right. Is that all you have to say about this?
That's all I have.
Right.
Stay safe, you guys.
Stay safe, everybody.
Thank you, Reese. So moving on, TikTok is facing some trouble. More than a dozen states in the United States and DC filed lawsuits against TikTok on Tuesday.
Yes, they did.
And I'm not sure if you know, I'm sure that everyone knows what TikTok is,
Yes.
but if you don't, it's an app that operates on an algorithm that feeds its users a bunch of short videos. And a lot of people have been complaining about it being like feeding to short-term, retention rates. and they're being sued because people think that the states think that the app is harming mental health and it's designed to be too addictive to little kids.
I think especially for young children, it's definitely harmful. But the only problem is that apps like Instagram and now YouTube also have short form content on there, almost exactly like TikTok content. So it's like, if TikTok does get like banned or something like that, the kids are just going to go onto the Instagram short content.
Bigger, better things.
Yeah, so I don't know how much it would like help the case or help like the populace.
But you did say, you told me that you deleted TikTok, right?
Yeah, I deleted TikTok and Instagram. The only social media I still have is YouTube, but.
I think it takes a big person to delete TikTok and Instagram. I don't think I could ever bring myself to do that.
Well, I think it feels better when you're not on it. Like your brain feels better. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Can't feel my brain, but I know what you mean.
You know what I mean. All right. To wrap up the show, we do have one fun space story.
The space stories have been like a staple for our shows recently.
They have.
I love ending it off on a happy note, and I know that Hayes, you're a sucker for space.
I am. It's so fun. And this last week in South America, specifically in Chile and Argentina,
beautiful,
a ring of fire eclipse was visible, which is super cool. We have some pictures here on the TV. That's so crazy. Like,
crazy.
That was in the middle of the day. I don't know. There's not too much to say about this other than it's so pretty.
That. I didn't know that was happening until I saw it on the news.
Yeah. I mean, we can't see it from here. But
well, I wish I would have.
I know. I would like to see it as well. But I believe it happens almost annually, so it's like a fairly regular occurrence for South America to see that. But let's see. Oh, before we wrap up the show, we do have one more thing to talk about. The space mission that we mentioned last week, the one going to Jupiter, that's scheduled for October 10th, is still good to launch. So if the skies are clear enough on Thursday, we might be able to see it from Jacksonville.
And we might be discovering new life soon.
Maybe.
Well, that's all we have for today. Make sure you check out Inside Swoop on Facebook and Instagram to find more details about the stories we covered from our amazing team members.
And thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Weekly Wrap-Up. I'm Hayes Brubaker.
And I'm Jessica Lee.
And
we'll see you next
time.